What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Relentless Project. Most of us live our lives assuming we have an endless supply of tomorrows. We procrastinate, we make excuses, and we leave our potential on the table. My guest today does not have that luxury. Luke Goozdich was born with less than a 1% chance of survival. Today, he lives with a congenital heart defect that he describes as a literal death warrant. But instead of wrapping himself up in bubble wrap and waiting for the end, he uses the immense pressure of that diagnosis to outwork almost everyone in the room. His resume is staggering. He is a licensed professional counselor. He runs a mindset and motivational YouTube channel with over 93,000 subscribers, and he is the best-selling author of the Noah Redford Adventure series. He is also one of the founders of Veritas Entertainment, currently in pre-production for a crime film right here in Pittsburgh. But getting here required walking through the fire. See, in December of 2015, holding a knife, he was ready to end his own life, convinced he was a worthless failure. But he survived that dark night through combat sports and brotherhood, only later to be hit with a catastrophic blood clot in his heart, lungs, and legs diagnosis, staring down an inevitable organ failure. He had every right to play victim. Instead, he decided he wasn't going to let any of his dreams get trapped in the grave with him. You're going to want to stick around for this conversation. Luke Goozdich, welcome to the Relentless Project.
You are now tuning in to the Relentless Project. Real people, real stories, real life.
Thank you for having me. That was good.
That was good, huh?
That was good.
A lot. Half of that stuff has, people go through things.
Yeah.
And I feel like you've been hit with every card in the book there.
I know. I mean, everybody, like you said, does go through things and has what they're going through. And so I feel kind of no different than anybody else. But, facing this and going to I have to go get stents in my heart next week. Like, I constantly have something with this. So it's been a good, constant philosophy check or mindset check that keeps me in a very particular way of living, I guess, where I feel like I can't slack off as often because I'm constantly like, what do I want my legacy to be,
Well, I'm glad you're here, and I appreciate you giving me some of your time, which is obviously, after reading that, very valuable. So I appreciate you giving me your time and sharing your story. The first question I like to ask people is, how does it feel to hear someone else describe you and your story?
I don't know. It's surreal, and it reminds me and kind of reinforces how important narrative is, because that story could be told a bunch of different ways, in your own mind. I could take it as, look at me, I'm so broken, I can't do anything. Like, you can take that and go that way. And I love that because everybody has a story, their story. And so hearing that reminds me of just the importance of narrative in your life. And so for other people, how can you interpret your story in a way that does sound like you're moving in the direction you want to go? How can you push forward and find the hope in your story?
Yeah, and it all comes back to what we talk about here and what a lot of podcasts talk about. It's that mindset, right? Like, is it happening to you or is it happening for you? How can a congenital heart disease happen for me, right?
Right.
Like, that sounds kind of counterintuitive, but you've used that as a way to kind of check yourself and continue to push yourself. So it's that mindset of, how can, this is the hand I've been dealt.
Right.
There's nothing I can do about it. I can fight or I can lay down and wait.
Yeah.
Right? Those are decisions we get to make. And no one will blame you for laying down and going, you know what, I'm going to play it safe. right? Like I don't have much time. Why am I going to push myself and make things worse for me? I'm just going to play it safe.
Right.
You've made the conscious decision and effort to go, you know what? I'm going to like, if I have a clock, I'm going to do as much as I can with that clock,
Right.
with the time I have. And I've mentioned this multiple times, like time is the only resource we will never get back, right? Whether you use it or you don't use it effectively, it's being used regardless.
Yeah.
Right? We sit back and do nothing. Your time's rolling. You're spending it. If you use that time to do something productive, time's rolling. You spent it. So I'm interested in this conversation and just the research I've done on you and looking into you. I was like, wow, this is a guy I need to learn from. So
I appreciate that. I feel like you're being super kind to me.
I
always feel like a normal guy who does, like, that's the thing with the heart condition is I've been with it my whole life. So it does feel just like, it just feels so normal, you know?
Especially in your probably what you surround yourself by, because you're at the hospital, your dog,
Yeah.
you're probably surrounded by other people like this. You're like,
Yeah.
I'm one of many.
And in so many ways, like philosophically, we all are going to die. We are all going the same place. I just happen to know probably what's going to kill me. I could probably still go get into a car crash and die, right? Differently. But I just know what's going to kill me. We're all heading to the same place. We all have the same decisions. We all have to wrestle with the same kind of things. So I feel very in line with people, you know.
Very deep. Very deep and very dark, but it's true. And we like to not think about it,
Right.
and pretend that if I don't think about it, it's not going to happen. But it's like, if you're very real with yourself and you think about it, I used to do this back like a long time ago and recently too. Like, you ever sit in your bed, it's nighttime, you're comfy, you're ready to sleep, and this might get real dark, but I'll be like that and I'll think to myself like, I'm going to die one day.
Mm-hmm.
And then I repeat it. Then my heart starts racing. And I'm like, man, I'm going to fall asleep and never wake up. Like, whoa. And then I start to freak myself. I get in this cycle.
Yeah.
And then to the point where I'll get up in bed, sit on the edge, and and one of two things happen. Back in the day, when I was very immature and doing some wild stuff, I would be like, man, I'm going to like just do whatever because I'm going to die. Doesn't matter. Which was a horrible way to approach it, right? And I'm like, lately I'll do it and I'll sit here, I'm like, man, wow, like I have a house, I have a family, I have a car, I have a job. I get to talk with awesome people all the time. I get to travel, and I'm like, man, okay. I get very appreciative of what I have and what I'm doing.
Right.
You know, back in the day, it'd be like, man, I need to do this. I need to do this. I don't have enough. I'm not doing enough. And now it's like, wow, I get very grounded.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, if you think of that, you're going to die one day. Now, here you are today. What are you doing about it?
Right.
You can learn a lot about yourself, because I used to go like, why am I pushing for this stuff? I'm going to die one day. Is this where I want to, like, do I want to work this dead end job? No, I need to do something about that today.
Yeah.
Because this can happen tomorrow. So it really, I can't say I understand.
I think you can.
What
That's my
you're
point.
going through,
This is human experience. You do.
Yeah,
you do
it's like
understand it.
at a fraction of a level, I'll say. So walk us through a little bit about your background. It seems like you've been fighting for your life since birth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit about, walk us through your childhood. Like, how are you the man you are today? Before we get into all the cool stuff you're doing, like, how was it growing up knowing, because a lot of kids are worried about bikes and playing games and friendships, and like, it almost seems like you get a different childhood. Maybe not, but walk us through it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm just glad that I have two kids and nothing like this happened with them, because I couldn't imagine being my parents and being told, like, they were told essentially you have to go get a funeral set up. This isn't the pregnancy is not going to work out. And luckily their mindset was like refusing to settle kind of thing and still having hope. So they went and advocated and found a heart doctor who would do a surgery on me. And so I was born, I had the surgeries, and I wasn't allowed to do, I think, like any sports right off the bat. I wasn't allowed to do anything. And so I grew up a lot watching TV and movies and shows, and that was like my early years, I definitely remember just sitting in front of a TV in a living room, just like watching stuff. And that's where a lot of my love for narrative and storytelling, I think comes from. But then they finally let me do like soccer and some of the more non-contact sports I was eventually allowed to do. And I wasn't very good.
A very cardio heavy sport. It's like, yeah, you have issues with your heart. Go run nonstop for like 2 hours.
And my dad was like boxer, wrestler, football, like all of the contact sports. So it really, like, with the intro, you heard about like where I was when I was going to take my own life. I think a lot of that led to this idea of like how a man is supposed to be, how I'm supposed to be. I look at my dad and like athletic, able to do all these things. And I looked at me and I was like, I'm not allowed to like even do that. And I feel so like broken and so small and kind of so insignificant. So I really I felt like I was always on the outside wanting to be able to do what my dad did, like be like him kind of thing, and be athletic and be strong and stuff like that. So that was my mindset growing up. And then I was finally allowed, I don't remember when, like middle school, they were like, yeah, you've had no issues this long, we can let you try wrestling, boxing. So I got into wrestling, was horrible at it. A lot of people start young at wrestling.
Wrestling is a very tough sport. I love when people started young and they're like phenomenal. It's like, I tried it and I sucked at it.
Yeah, I was horrible. So like my dad was the captain of his wrestling team and I was garbage. So again, doing the comparison game.
This identity crisis. You're dealing with this. Okay.
And like a just constantly comparing and feeling like I'm living in the shadow, which is the wrong way to do it, right? We're all our own unique individual people. I had my own skill set that I hadn't tapped into yet. I had my own way of being a man and being myself, but I was too busy trying to like live his template and trying to think that was the way to do it. So I got into wrestling and then just felt always on the outside of that. You know what I mean? Like those were those guys and I'm me. And I think growing up, what was different when you're asking about that experience, I think it was just like the identity crisis, like you're saying, of who am I supposed to be? What am I supposed to do? Always
on the outside looking in.
Yeah.
I felt that too. I came up inner city kid, very, very fortunate enough that I was able to I was very good in school. I used to remember everything. So I had very good grades. I would like do my homework in class because I wasn't like invested in school because I had no role models around me who were successful in school, right? Like I didn't have a father figure in the home. My mother was a single mother, never finished high school. She worked all the time. Yeah. I mean, I give her credit for a lot. But like I never had that school goals instilled in me. So I just went in there and remembered what I could. And I get A's and B's.
Nice.
And I applied to this collegiate high school where I'm from as a joke to my friends, like, dude, that's it. I can do that. I got in.
Nice.
Like it was a college preparatory school, so only honors and AP classes.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what that means at the time. And they're explaining this to me. They're like, oh, well, there's school. And I'm like, should I be going there? Like, you got accepted. Yeah.
Right.
And I'm like, well, I don't even study. I don't even know how to study. So like in those experiences, especially in high school, like I was a part of almost every friend group because I'm like a chameleon. Growing up the way I grew up, I had to fit in these rooms to survive. Right.
Yeah.
So like I'm in this high school and like, you got the rich kids and you got the cool kids and the drama club and I'm just like friends with everybody, but I wasn't in the group, right? Like I wasn't the first one people would text. I'm like, hey, I was just a kid that was around and people liked because I was funny and I was, a lot of what was it called when you make fun of yourself a lot?
Oh, self-deprecating.
It's a lot of self-deprecation.
Right. Yeah,
and people love that stuff, right?
You and me are like mirror ends because I was awful at school. Got the D's and C's, but the same exact vibe of like. No friend group was I going to their parties, but every friend group in school was like cool with me. We were talking, we were friends, like in class clown energy, like trying to do all that. But yeah, same thing. I was like, where do I really belong? I don't know. I'm just kind of like floating along. I try to make people laugh. That's kind of all I got.
Same.
It's like
if I got to point it at myself, I will. I will make you laugh though. When did you find kind of your groove, right? You're going through these outside looking in. Did you ever find a path where you're like, this is it for me? Like this is what I'm supposed to be doing, or some sort of comfortability?
Yeah. Early on, I knew and like accepted that storytelling was my thing for me, but it was that hurdle of like that was too weird to say to people. You know what I mean? I didn't want to be like, I want to be a writer. I want to make movies. I want to write books. I never like
I think that's cool.
Thank you. And
Now,
I mean, now I
adult.
think it's cool, but I think in third grade is when I met Casey, who I run Veritas with, and we're doing the crime story together. Like, we met in third grade and we knew we wanted to make movies, but I kept that close to the vest all the way until like I got out of college or something. I don't think I started mentioning I wanted to be a writer to anybody, you know, because of this embarrassment or again, this comparison of, I really thought if I wasn't like athletic and cool in this type of way, that I'm going to be ostracized. And anytime I tried to be me, like I'm into fashion. I've always been into like clothing and stuff.
I can tell you're dressed up
Thank you.
very nicely. I came in a t-shirt. I saw him walk out. I'm like,
It's just how I dress all the time and have. And when you dress like this, which I did in like 8th grade, you're getting made fun of. You know what I mean? So I think it was just like a hidden thing for me, but I knew storytelling was my thing because of stories like Rocky and what they did for me growing up in front of that screen and being like that gave me hope that there was more. Like that gave me hope that I could fight into something better, you know? And that was just a movie, you know?
you want a fun fact?
So-
I've always wanted to be an actor.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for someone to step in,
We are looking for actors. So you should absolutely help
what do you
us
need
with
me
the
to be?
crime story.
I could be. I'm a chameleon.
We've got lots of characters you could check out. I'll send you the script.
See the serious face?
Yep.
Scared face? No, I all jokes aside, every time I have like a producer or something,
Yeah.
I'll throw that in there, and
No, genuinely,
if it sticks,
we would definitely have you in there. For
I'll
sure.
I'll
That'd be
audition,
awesome.
man. If you think I'm ready,
That'd be
put
sick.
me in, coach. Put me in, coach.
I'm already hyped. 'Cause
Hey,
you're jacked too. You know, we need more jacked guys.
That's what I'm saying.
scared.
We're not represented in
We're
the
not
industry.
representing
We
the
have The
jacked
Rock
dudes. Yeah.
and Vin Diesel. Maybe back in the day, I
yeah.
don't know what happened.
Yeah.
But we used to be like, "Yo, that's Diesel. We're Diesel." That used to be a saying, and I don't know how he's. But like, we need more short kings who
Yeah.
are a little on the thick side represented in the film industry. So you kind of found that along the way, but you still had to do this identity crisis.
Yeah,
thing.
I was just hiding it. And I was too afraid. You know what I mean? Like just too ashamed to do it. That's where like people don't realize how much you get in your own way. Like how crazy is that? I could have just accepted that I was the guy who likes to write and I wanted to make movies and just did that. And if people made fun of me, okay, then don't hang out with them. Hang out with people who do like you. Like I got in my way so much thinking I had to be friends with these certain people. And I always just wanted to break into the cool crowd, you know? There was this thing called the senior bench in school where the like, cool kids sat. And that was where my sister was. When I was a freshman, she was a senior and she was at the senior bench. And I was like, one day, never happened. I never was that cool. I was never a cool kid. But that was like what was going on internally was like, how do I be cool? And I wasted my whole youth trying to be cool. Not wasting my whole youth. That's overstaying it. But I missed out on a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could have felt more fulfilled and kind of okay with myself and validated way earlier if I just dropped this whole gotta be cool thing.
Like, what is cool anymore?
Yeah. Nothing.
Like, you ever watched, what was it, 22 Jump Street?
Yeah.
When
he's explaining the cool kids now compared to
yeah, and he's like he drives like a muscle car or something, and the other kid who is the cool kid at this time was driving an electric car, I think it was.
Yeah.
And he's like, what? Or he's like the one strap book bag. But to say like, what is cool?
Right.
Cool is very subjective. Like I grew up thinking drug dealers were cool. Mm-hmm. Totally not cool.
Right.
The least cool, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But it was because of the environment I was in, and I had this warped view of reality. Like if you'd have told me there are houses that cost $1 million, I'd have laughed at you. Mm-hmm. I'm like, bro, this thing I'm living in, there's one of these that costs $1 million,
Right.
because I had no concept of reality.
Right.
My environment was super small. And then breaking out and going to high school, I did was like my first, I got invited to a lake party. And mind you, I was always by myself. Like my parents weren't around, you know, I kind of just did my own thing. My mom was always working, so I got away with a lot of things. And now I'm going to these kids' houses and their parents are there and their mom and dad is there and they're like hanging out with them and talking. I'm like, this is so cool. Like, I was like, you have a mom and a dad.
Right.
And they're like, and you talk to them. I'm like my mom's always working. I remember she bought me a Nintendo 64 just so I can go home and be distracted while she was working.
Right.
Right? Like I'm like, man, this is cool. Like your parents are here. You get to hang out with them. And I remember the first time one of my friends called their parents by their first name. I was like, what? Dude, my mom would beat me if I did that. But my mom's a very nice lady. But she's a Puerto Rican woman, so
Yeah.
very old school.
Got to stay in the lines.
So that kind of like opened up my reality. And then I got invited to this lake house party.
Right.
And we go there, and dude, there's all the kids from school. I'm like, yo, where's your mom and dad? They're like, oh, they're out of town. I'm like, and we're just in their house? They're like, no, this is our lake house.
You have a second house?
I was like, you got 2 houses? So like I started to like see, and then I go to college and I meet people. My one of my good friends, Nico Carbo, shout out. He was one of the sponsors of this podcast. He's Carbo Jewelers in New York if you're looking for anything. You know, he brings me out to New Jersey. And man, what I was exposed to, I'm like, hold on. There's marble floors?
Yeah.
Like,
how big the world
how
gets.
big is this world? I went to a neighborhood and I'm like, people live in these?
Yeah.
Like, I could fit 50 of my homies in this house. And it's just you and 3 other people. Like, I started to see a lot of things. And it got me to change, like to really reevaluate myself. Like, what am I doing? Like, I can't break out of this. Do it. Like, obviously, the same thing I've been doing hasn't worked. I see this now, and I'm like, wow, there's like peace and tranquility, and there's flourishment and growth. There's nothing in here. Every one of my friends ended up dead or in prison. That's not cool.
Right.
So like I was in like college was a big identity crisis for me again internally. I was like, I don't want to do this stuff anymore. I need to settle down. I need to hone in. I need to like tighten up. So it's like the environment. I don't even know how I got there. See why I have these show notes? Because I start to
No, it's just good.
start to get passionate.
It's such an important piece though of like who you keep around you, the environment you keep around you. That is going to answer that question to you of what is cool, what is there to aspire to. So the role models you have, the virtual role models now with like podcasts, what you do. This is why I think this stuff is important because what got me through college and stuff and what really turned things around, because I told you I got those D's and C's, and then eventually I got some really good grades. It was Jocko podcasts and things like that, and holding this sphere of influence towards me helped me change and helped me discipline myself. Same with like films. You know, if you grow up only enjoying a certain type of film and a certain type of hero and seeing them do a certain type of thing, that's what you're going to aspire towards. And growing up on Rocky films and stuff, my brain is filled with all of these platitudes from 80s action films. And that's what helps me have this delusion against my heart condition and be like, yeah, I didn't hear no bell, you know? Like I just keep going.
Why was that so good?
I do it all the time. Obsessed with Rocky. What do you mean?
That was if you ever need to do voiceovers with Rocky, I got a guy. That was impressive. Yeah, well, and also so what we ingest can tell a lot about who we become and what we do. And with social media being so readily accessible now,
Yeah.
and the brain rot that's out there.
Brutal.
We were talking about it before. Like I was like, hey, I gotta do this for socials, and I'll get on socials. And I have like OCD, so like I see a notification, I have to get rid of it.
Yeah.
But I also can't get rid of it because I have ADHD, and then I'll forget to go back into it and actually read the message or whatever. So now I have to read it, and then it's a video, so now I have to watch it, and then it's like a scroll, and next thing you know, like 15 minutes have passed. I'm like, what was that? Right. No, I have to do this. Social media makes it very easy to keep you distracted and overwhelmed.
Right. And that's you and I who are adults. Like I couldn't imagine being a kid sucked into that right now. Like that, I would be addicted to my phone for sure. Because I'm already probably addicted considering how much time I have on there.
Most people,
you know, I always just getting the permanent hunch going on from looking at the phone. If I were a kid, it's tough. And that's where content diet is something that I'm constantly talking to people about. It's like what we eat, that matters, right? If I go ahead and eat just ice cream all the time, I'm going to have a different physique than if you ate steaks, rice, all that kind of stuff. Same thing with what you're watching on the internet, brain rot, and maybe it's negative stuff, whatever you watch, or you could watch stuff that's edifying or builds you up, is motivating. So I think it's important to be as specific with your diet as your content diet, because what you ingest, like you said, in the mind also is going to help how you think, how you go through the world, you know?
You have to be very intentional. You know how many people I've seen murdered on Instagram
Yeah,
within the last few weeks?
it's awful.
Blows my mind. It's like, and I believe that social media should operate under the freedom of speech. However you feel about that. I just wish people were better at what they talk about
Right.
and showcase. You know, like for those who don't want to be good above and beyond, like they should have the right to say whatever they want to say and post whatever they want to post. But like I think people should be better at what they put out.
Right.
But the stuff I've been seeing, you'll see all this and then you'll wonder why you're stressed. You wonder why you're anxious. You wonder why you're less than. You wonder why you're feeling illegitimate. And it's like, well, you're either watching, you know, dudes talk about gambling and then get on yachts and smoke and do drugs and you're like, man, this guy's got millions of dollars and I'm just trying to support my wife and kids.
Right.
And I can't even do that. But here he is just posting about this stuff and he's getting paid. And here I am breaking my back to work. And so we start to create this resentment and this hatred, and not even to the person, but just in general. Like, why not me? Why can't I catch up? Or you see the negative stuff like murders and the political divide and this divide and this divide. And you're like, man, the world is horrible. The world's, and then we disconnect from our phones and we're miserable and we wonder why.
Yeah. You're scrolling, like you said, I literally see people die. Your cortisol spikes, you're watching that, and then you put that away. You're supposed to have a normal conversation with someone after you just saw that.
Or go to bed.
Yeah, just go sleep now. It's all over.
It's like, okay, good night. What are you probably going to dream about?
This
if you
stuff
can get
used
to sleep?
be, the snuff films, you have to go into like the back behind some curtains, and that would even be just like inappropriate. If you wanted to see a real person die, I don't even know where you would find that back in the day. The dark web, but now it's just on Instagram. That's not.
Wow.
It should not be that accessible, and the fact that it is,
It's wild to me. You're a successful counselor, author, filmmaker, but one thing I like to talk about, it's not just the highlight reels here, right? Like I genuinely, I don't want to say enjoy because that sounds bad, but I like hearing about people's like the struggle, the grit. How'd you get here? Because as we mentioned earlier, there's a lot of people going through things. And I watch a lot of podcasts. I watch a lot of social media that we see the highlight reel. We see, like we're just talking about, we see the success, the greatness. And then they get on a podcast and it's a 2-hour episode of this is why I'm awesome. This is why I'm great. These are all the things I'm doing. And to an average Joe, like you, me, and a lot of the people listening, it's like, wow, that's cool. That's something to strive for. But totally unrealistic for me.
right.
So it's hard to take those strives to be better because in our minds, and I'm just speaking from my experience, I'm like, that's totally so unattainable that why even try, right? And I talk a lot about like the baby steps and back planning and like taking one step forward to doing that one thing you want to do. And you could be that guy if you truly want it. Like if you truly wanted to, you could, or that girl. But for a lot of us, the goal almost looks unrealistic.
Yeah.
So we don't even bother trying. We shoot lower. And sometimes that's good. But if you shoot lower, I always tell people, shoot lower with that goal in mind, right? Because that's going to be the next step, the next rung on the ladder. And then boom, a little lower, boom. And then small wins.
Right.
So as much as I love hearing the highlight reel, and we're going to talk about all that stuff because I think what you're doing is amazing, I want to talk about the stuff people don't really enjoy talking about if you're comfortable with that. Take us back to December 2015. You were holding a knife.
Yeah.
And I can't even imagine what you were going through. But it sounds like you were contemplating making a permanent mistake.
Right.
Is that something you're comfortable opening up with?
Yeah, for sure. Especially because I think it's another one of those just human experiences that led me there that a lot of people probably, even if you're not going to take it that far to a forever decision, you're wrestling with the same types of things that I was at that time. The biggest factor was, the difference between like internal validation and external validation, where I was back then, I had like we talked about, I did not like who I was and felt like I had to hide that or try to pretend to be something else, was trying to be cool. That external, if I have the right girlfriend, if I have the right friend group, if I have the right status, if I have the right amount of followers, whatever it might be, If I have that, then I'm cool, and then things are fine. And that is a terrible way to live, because it's the stock market. It's up and down. You know, the girlfriend's talking to you, leaves you, whatever. Like, it's all up and down.
And how many of us are going through that right now?
Yeah.
Man, if I had the car, I'd be good. If I had that house, I'd be good. If I had this job, I'd be good. And then we get there, and it's like, well, now, if I had that one.
Yeah.
So you're in this constant loop.
Right.
And then how does it get to the decision you almost made? So you're going through this struggle. What's going through your mind? Like, what are you battling with that identity crisis? And was there anything else that you're kind of struggling with at that time?
So I had really, my foundation was built on this relationship, my high school girlfriend at the time, which a lot of people do, like, especially in high school, you make that everything. And that's a shaky base to live your life on, because when we broke up, which is what happened, I lost my identity. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what to do. And this breakup hit me so hard because I had no internal love or like respect for myself. And so when she left, it was like, what am I worth? What am I doing? Add on to that, that was miserable at school. Like, I was failing so bad, and college was coming up. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? I had this narrative in my head that I was an idiot, that there was nothing I could offer. So I'm here. Time is running out for, I was just had started college, and I was about to be, what's it called? Academic probation there. And so, like, I had lost a girlfriend. I was terrible at school. My friend from third grade, Casey, who I was with now, like, him and I had kind of separated at this point and weren't really friends. So a lot of just who I was just like, I don't know what does tomorrow look like? Is there tomorrow? Who cares about tomorrow? It felt pointless to just keep moving forward. And there's a book called The Forever Decision. I forget who wrote it, but they talk about suicidality being like a bug inside of a cup, where everywhere I looked, it's just, I can't get out. I can't go this way, can't go that way. I've went every single way. I've looked around this and I can't get out. And anytime I try to crawl up or do anything, I'm sliding back down. There's no way out of this. That's kind of the metaphor for the suicidal brain. And it takes somebody else to come along and show you, hey, you're in a cup. Let me dump you out real quick. You see the whole world around you. You see all these other things going on. And so at that moment, being the bug in the cup, I was ready to end it, because I thought, you're a loser. You've got nothing going for you. The future, you're showing yourself as like incompetent. You're in school, you're failing. What are you going to do? You can't really make social connections, because I was always like a very awkward, shy kid trying to make friends. If I wasn't doing the comedian thing, didn't know how to talk to you. You know, if I wasn't making fun of myself, like you were saying, couldn't talk to you.
Or you try to talk to someone and they think you're trying to be funny and you're actually being serious, and you're like, wow, like I'm being laughed at.
Yeah, you're just never taken seriously.
Yeah.
So I just lost. I had no self-respect. You know what I mean? I was denigrating all the time, and at that point, I was just ready to. I felt like the world would be better without me. I was like, there's just I'm trying to talk to this girl and she's mad at me. I'm not good with friends. I'm just bothering people. My parents are probably stressed that I'm not good at school. I just felt like I have to be messing with so many people's lives.
You've convinced yourself that you were a burden.
Right. Which,
very scary place.
Yeah. And it's skewed, it's a lie. It's so skewed. Yeah. Your brain is lying to you.
Yeah. It's a lie. And I'll say that, like, to anyone listening, if you're having those thoughts, those are lies.
Right.
Right? Because just think of this. When you see, I'm going to make it very simple. When we see another human's last breath, it affects us physically, emotionally, mentally. And these are people we don't know. We could care less about. And I say that respectfully. We don't know them. Mm-hmm. When we see someone take their last breath, it does something to us. When we see a loved one do it, take their last breath, it breaks us. Mm-hmm. When we see a loved one take it upon themselves to do that, you're never the same.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you are loved. You are cared for. And people have a weird way of showing it. We're all doing this life for the first time, trying to figure it out.
Right.
And if you're having these thoughts, and tell yourself, because what you're feeding yourself are lies. So tell yourself, something else. Say, these are lies. Be honest with yourself. These are lies. They suck. These thoughts are really overwhelming right now, but they are lies.
Right.
Tell yourself it's going to be okay. Start telling yourself positive things to start climbing out of that cup. Take those steps.
Yeah.
Get further enough and reach out to someone and give someone the opportunity to lift that cup for you.
That's the massive
Because there's a
thing.
lot of people there. There's a lot of people in this world who want to help you. Strangers,
Right.
friends, family, strangers. Like, no one's truly alone if we think about it. We convince ourselves we are, though.
There's hotlines too, you know, that for people who will talk. And that's the thing, is you don't have all the data. Your brain's feeding you false data. So you're making a decision, a forever decision based off of incorrect, invalid, and not complete data. Because if I would have done that then, all the best days of my life were on the other side of that. You know what I mean? Every accomplishment was on the other side of that. I didn't realize how much of a lie everything I was saying was at the time to myself in that moment. And I think about that, like it is now being on the other side of that and seeing, wow, how wrong I was. Because there was, you know, at that time, I always talk about this, where the light in my room would come in my dorm in college. I could see like the light of the day kind of on the white wall there. And that would upset me. It'd be like that feeling of when you see someone die on Instagram, where it's just like a sinking, like, oh, that was a new day. I have to get up, and why? What? I don't want to get out of this bed. And then to go from that to the other side of it, being not wanting to go to sleep, being so excited to wake up the next day because you have a purpose, you have a why. You know, it's that Nietzsche quote of like, who has a strong why can withstand nearly any how. If you have a purpose and you have a meaning behind what you're doing, then pain and burden and struggle, they become, you know, things that you can deal with and handle, and you feel like you're working towards something meaningful.
What actually stopped you from crossing that line? Like, what were the things you can attribute to not listening to the lies and being able to crawl through that and getting to the side that you explained now of being so freaking excited about life you can't go to sleep?
Right. Yeah, that night, it was just like that divine intervention fact of it was like midnight or something, and my mom came down the steps, and I don't know why. It was maybe getting water, or letting the dog out. But I got interrupted as far as like someone came downstairs, and she's a counselor too. And at that point, you can't really hide that things are pretty, like you were in a bad place, you know? Obviously she didn't see the knife and stuff, but I was apparent from my face that I was not okay. And we talked for like an hour or something, and it was good to like get that off my chest. Like you're saying, reaching out to people, connecting with other people, getting it off my chest, hearing other points of views, letting people show me over the lip of the cup. That was kind of the beginning, and then getting into counseling, like for myself, and opening up with friends about this stuff rather than keeping it to the vest and being like trying to, you know, go through it solo, lone wolf. Because that's the other, you know, thing that comes from all those 80s movies, is a lot of these guys are lone wolves. But in real life, you need friends, you need brotherhood, you need other people. So reaching out and telling my friends about the situation and being like, this is where I was, this is where I am, just wanted you to know that. And then it actually increased my friendships with people and like brought us closer, and I learned more about them and they learned more about me, and our friendship was boosted by that kind of thing. And they were who helped me, like drag me out of that, you know? So yeah, I got super lucky that she came down the steps and started that conversation and interrupted me.
Luck, divine intervention.
Right.
We can call it whatever it is, but I'm glad you were interrupted, because just imagine how many people you've affected positively since that day. Right? Like, we don't think about that either.
Right.
Like, let's be selfish for a second. How many people are we impacting every day with the words we say, the actions we do? And I mean, I'm hoping that's something we strive to do, is impact people positively.
Right.
Like we're community oriented. Like, we as people are tribal. We yearn for community. We yearn for belonging. We yearn for relationship. So just imagine how many people you've helped along the way, you've impacted positively since 20. That's 11. Is my math good? 11 years.
I failed math. I wouldn't tell you.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell you.
D's. I forgot. I apologize. Too soon. It's 11 years. 11 years of interacting with people in a deeper, more meaningful way because of the situation you were in.
Right.
Like, you ever think about that?
Yeah, something that I do think about is what you're saying, where people are watching, and I think a lot of us underestimate that. People look up to you more than you realize, like people in just your everyday life, people are watching and rooting for you and looking out for you and seeing how you move through life. And it was something that once I started the YouTube and it was small and 0 comments, 1 comment kind of thing, it was like the first inkling of like, oh, somebody is getting something out of this and they care about like me and the story and they feel like they're getting something out of it. And it, like you said, it made me kind of take on a responsibility in a way of like, yeah, we also can't be just selfish. We got to look out for other people. We got to think, what am I robbing the world of if I don't do what I'm meant to do, if I don't pursue my passions? And not even for what you produce and give them, but like the hope in doing that. Like, how could you ask your kids to go chase their dreams if you didn't do that?
No, that's a good point. We all play a role in life. And it's harmonizing. What's the word?
Harmonious, maybe?
Harmonious.
Yeah.
I speak 2 languages. English is my second language.
Whoa, super impressive.
Yeah, you habla español, papi. That's my primary. But like we all are meant to be in harmony, right? So we all play roles. And if you don't play your role, and I feel like our role is what we were destined for, whatever that may be, like writing, storytelling. You were the kid inspired by a writer and a storyteller.
Right.
Right? You were that kid watching that and using that, right? Podcasts, I would say it's kind of storytelling, right? We're literally sharing stories. You were inspired by Jocko. Like everyone has a role to play. And if we all play our role in what we were destined to do, we all benefit.
Yeah.
Now, who are you to go, no,
right.
I refuse? And we do that. And that's fine. Some of it is intentional. Some of it is unintentional, right? Like we're all trying to find the way. I don't think this is my role. I'm going to go this way. Right. And it's like, maybe that isn't your role. Maybe you need to take a step back and like, what should I be doing? I need to be real with myself. I need to be honest with myself.
Yeah.
But the cool cars are flashy. Cool. Like if you do what you're destined to do for long enough, maybe you get a cool car because the money will come.
You got to be congruent. You got to be in line with yourself. If you don't want to be, you don't have to run a podcast or do whatever. You can live a simple life if that is congruent with what you want. I want to go to my job. I want to come back. I want to live a just chill 9 to 5 and then watch TV. If that's congruent with you, then that's good. And you are going to be inspiring to people in other ways. Like, look at this guy as a father. I love how this guy communicates. Just be authentically yourself and congruent with yourself. That is the best way to live, I think.
Yeah. And you mentioned you're a counselor.
Mm-hmm.
When did that become? After?
Yeah. So
and how did that become?
I went to school initially just to not have responsibility for a little bit longer, Got out of high school. I was like, I don't know what I want to do.
Kick the can down the road.
Yeah. I was like, here's 4 years I can buy. And then I went to school not really knowing what I was going to do. I think I majored in business, like going into it. I was like, that's generic. Business? That sounds good.
It's generic enough.
And then
business administration.
Like academic probation, this isn't going to work. Transferred to another school. There was like a whole bouncing around process before I got to where I ended up, which I forget when, but it was around sophomore year of college is when I finally decided I'm going to go this counseling route. And that's what my mom did. And as well, there's a movie called Warrior. You ever see it? With the 2 brothers in MMA? And they fight each other? Yeah. That movie, I think, is what I attribute my interest in counseling to come from. Because it was so interesting to me that the 2 brothers came from the same background, went 2 different ways and had 2 different mentalities. I was like, how does that happen? How do you guys end up so different? And I have Casey, I keep mentioning, he has a brother. And him and his brother, they're close, they're friends, but they're so different. And it just fascinates me. So that Warrior movie and my mom being a counselor led me to that direction. And that's when I finally felt like, okay, things are clicking. I actually enjoy this. I'm actually doing well. I'm making connections. I presented research out in Oregon when I was the guy getting D's before. It's like, this felt right and it felt good. And so I went that path, and then I went to my master's program and just went from there and got into it.
Was the research part of your master's program?
That was It was my undergrad when I
Your
did the
undergrad?
research that I presented. It was on social comparison and social media, and how the more you do that, your outcomes for mental health are going to plummet. The more we're getting on there, scrolling through, and feeling like there's some kind of comparison to make. We feel like there's any validity in what we're seeing there. Our depression goes up, our anxiety goes up.
We were literally just talking about that. Look,
exactly.
And you just failed to mention that you did an entire research paper on it. Cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you needed any more proof, people, there you go. I mean, I don't know what his research yielded. That's true, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
there
right.
you go, people. It's in the research. There's research. I can actually point to research. There's research to show.
Right. Research-based stuff. Oh, that's the other. If you want a book about just that, Coddling of the American Mind had a ton of stuff about how, or it's the same author, Anxious Generation, from this author, is all about social media's impact on mental health. There's a little bit of it in Coddling of American Mind, but.
And so the same guy wrote both books.
Yeah. Forgetting it. Jonathan Haidt, I think, maybe.
Tell me it's on Audible. I love me some Audible.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to look into that because I talk about it because of articles I've read, but I can never remember. So then I feel so silly talking about it. And everyone talks about it, but it's like there's research to show. Well, what research? And it's like, well, I read an article.
Right.
So like to be able to digest something and read it and be able to articulate where I got it from and the actual things that are being seen.
Right.
Would help a lot because there's I've had a Dual Coast podcast hosts on here and one of their biggest thing is movement, right? Like getting off of your phones
Right.
and moving, going outside, touching grass. So that was a very interesting conversation because he touched upon a lot of that stuff. So I'm gonna have to read up on that. I like to learn. This is my issue. I do a lot, but then like you mentioned those books, I have to now after this get the books and read them. Because I love education. I love learning. I love learning. I hated school.
Yeah.
But I love learning.
It's interesting how school does like diminish that in some people who actually have that natural inclination. Because once you find your avenue, like for you're saying, and like for me, I'll research all day. But in school, I just couldn't figure it out.
Why?
I don't know. It's just like such a rigid way of doing it that it's like, oh, you're good at this, you're a good kid, you're bad at this, you're a bad kid, go to the resource room. I don't know. That's the very black and white, not nuanced version of it. But in real life, when you can just open up the floodgates and do whatever you want, everybody has something. Like Mike Tyson, I'm pretty sure they talked about when he couldn't read, he could tell you which round.
I couldn't read. Of course I can read.
Impressions as well.
I love impressions.
But he could tell you what round, what punch was thrown in what round of a fight from 1930 because he's a savant when it comes to watching the footage with Customato, and like that was his thing. He was a genius when it comes to that. So there's so many different ways to test intelligence and stuff like that. That's where, going back to my young days, I was discounting myself, selling myself short, just being like, look, you get D's, you don't have friends, that like you're a loser. But really, I just hadn't gotten to see where I can thrive yet. I hadn't opened those doors for myself. So you got to give yourself a chance.
Yeah, and it's so interesting how people learn. A buddy of mine has a kid who was struggling in school, right? And like he would, dude, I don't know. The dude he sucks in school. I don't know what to do. And I remember on a separate note, I would go to his house, and the kid is rebuilding a lawnmower engine.
Wow.
He's like 8.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, what's like, dude, he's about to get hurt. He's like messing with the lawnmower. He's like, nah, dude, he's good. He loves building engines and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
I was like, but this is the kid who's bad in school? He's like, yeah.
Wild.
Like, but he can rebuild the lawnmower engine? I don't even know what one looks like. I just keep it covered.
Yeah.
Pretend I got to look at it.
Couldn't tell you one part on it.
But like, he would devour YouTube for learning how engines work and rebuilding them. And my buddy's lawnmower stopped working. And it's like, oh, it's just da-da-da-da-da. And he like started taking it apart and putting it back together at the age of 8.
Yeah.
You're going to tell me this kid is D-level material in the education system?
Right. Like, come on. The potential here is up here. If you're just going to limit to what the D's, though, then you're just cutting out like the whole experience of this guy and what he could do.
Yeah, and you're going to tell him, hey, you're not good enough, so we're good. But it's like, look at this skill set.
Right.
And I get it. We should be very well-rounded with education. But something about the education, there needs to be a way that we can tailor to styles of learning.
Right.
Because me sitting in a classroom, I always got in trouble, right? Like, I remember them telling, I was super young, they told my mom, like, hey, he might have ADHD, we should get him. And she's like, no, he's not, I'll say the dumb. It's like, no, he's not dumb.
Yeah.
And like, we're not saying he's dumb. We're saying he has this, we just got to make sure, and we need to follow up on it because it's going to hinder his ability to learn and focus. And she's like, no.
Right.
Like, my mother at that time could not fathom that something was different. Not all, something was different. Like, he requires a different type of learning.
Yeah.
She's just like, no. Now, my mom didn't understand, right? Because she doesn't, probably till this day doesn't speak English. She can swear in English and yell in English, but like, so back then she probably didn't speak a lot of English.
Yeah.
Actually, I could tell you she didn't because we would go to open house and the teacher would be like, hey, can you go in the hallway? And I'm like, oh, I'm translating for my mom. She doesn't speak English. And then when the teacher would tell me something, I would
Did you get to
translate
manipulate it?
I got to use my creative writing and storytelling skills. And then my mom would be like, oh, and the teacher would be confused.
Did you say what I just?
And I was like, oh, she said when we get home. And she's like, okay. Like, super.
Yeah.
So I got away with that a lot until my older brother came. And he liked to get me in trouble. He'd be like, no, she said. And I'm like, you rat, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you snitch. But, so she didn't speak English. So different styles of learning in the education system. Right now we have sit in the class, and I think schools are getting better at it. I've been to a few high schools now that they have like VOTEC and shops, and so kids are being able to be grouped in hands-on learning and visual, auditory. Like, so I think it's getting better. But growing up, it was sit in a classroom, listen to the teacher, and it's so funny because the teacher would talk about math, and she'd close the book, put it away. All right, now English, same position, same. Everything. She will erase the board.
Yeah.
And then now it's English. And you're like, we can't even get a 10-minute break to stand up and you're asking me to go from analytical thinking to now this kind of thinking, but there's been no break in this. I'm just sitting in the same seat.
Now throw into this mix a phone in their hands and everything we talked about, keeping you on the stimulation loop of your phone. And now I'm supposed to listen to you? Not happening.
I got this TikTok playing.
Yeah,
You think I'm going to listen to you?
I got an AirPod in. I haven't heard a word you
Dude,
said.
that blows. Kids with one AirPod in.
Yeah. Wild stuff.
Man, like, you'll have a whole conversation with them and they'll be like, what? It was nothing. Never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Forget it.
Not even interested
This
anymore.
is not going to happen.
So education, and the stuff we ingest and we use to learn, that's what I'll use as education. Education, combat sports, brotherhood. Would you say those things, you credit those things pulling you out of what I'll call the abyss, right? The what we feel is never ending and we can't escape, but it's truly a lie. I just want to take a second to shout out a few companies who've believed in me. These were one of our first official sponsors, so huge shout out. Today's episode is proudly sponsored by Carbo Jewelers, established in 1997 on the values of honesty and integrity. Whether you're searching for the perfect piece, need expert repair services, visit Carbo Jewelers in Newark's Ironbound District, where your jewelry is always in safe hands. This episode is also brought to you by Continental Jewelers, proudly serving Hudson County, New Jersey since 1964. Whether you're seeking a timeless piece or need expert repairs, they've got you covered. Visit Continental Jewelers, your trusted source for all things jewelry. You can find them on Instagram at Carbo Jewelers or online at carbojewelers.com. Lastly, big shout out to Carbo Trading. Besides coins, precious metals, and jewelry, if it could be traded and collected, he's probably got it. They can be found on Instagram at carbo.trading. You can find all of our sponsors out online on our sponsor page at therelentlessproject.com.
Yeah. Creativity, adventure, or creation, adventure, and I'm blanking on the other one. But purpose. Purpose, creation, and adventure. Those are the three things I attribute to keeping me.
Purpose, creation,
and adventure.
And adventure.
Yeah, because purpose is, I think, like we've talked about, we're all here for something. We have our purpose here on the world, our part to play. So do that. you know, if you're not engaging in that, you're going to feel some kind of internal rotting going on. You're going to feel less than because something's not right. You're not using
a disconnect. You're gonna feel a disconnect. Yeah.
And then adventure would be just like with the limited time, why don't you have some fun? Like you said, the world is bigger. There's marble floors, that kind of experience that you were saying. Like there is so much out there that you can experience. You don't have to have a ton of money to go be a wanderer in your own town, you know? Like you can go find a different coffee shop you've never tried before. Or you can just go find a stream and hang out by it. And like I like to do that kind of stuff because it keeps me off my phone in the real world. Like just doing something. My friend got me, Casey again, he got me a dirt bike.
This Casey, I'm gonna have to meet him.
I know, I want to bring him on.
Yeah.
He got me a dirt bike, and I'm gonna try to learn that. And it's like that's a new adventure for me. It's something to like keep it fun and creative, and it's that outlet, especially for, maybe not especially for men, but for men, I think we want some level of danger. And that thing I was talking about with combat sports and what my dad like that over here, I think there is something to that. I don't want to be when it talks about. Like when we're talking about getting ourselves out of a mental headspace, I don't want to just sit and do the counseling only because then I'm just like this endless pity machine. I don't want to just like talk and only do that. I want something physical. I want to be out there. Like we were saying, how do we learn? I want to go move the needle. I want to do something fun. And that's where creation comes in for me. I don't want to just ingest and be a passive scrolling kind of guy. I want to do my part and give something back, you know?
Yeah. I train Jiu Jitsu, Muay Thai. I love MMA. So I know training literally saves lives.
Yeah. There's something to it. And you probably know way better than me because I've only, lived 10% of it, but there is something to the whole combat sports thing that it is unlocks something in you that's very helpful and beneficial.
It's this very primal. It's like very primal, right? Like in the context of MMA, you're locked in a cage with another human who has the same goal and objective as you.
Right.
To win. How do you win? You have to fight. What does fighting do? Puts you in a survival mode. The more you train, the more controlled it is. But you're not thinking about your bills. You're not thinking about the argument you had with your old lady. You're not thinking about the deadline you have to meet at work. You're thinking about one thing. Taking this dude or this chick and finishing them. Right? So when you boil that down, it's follow me through on this because people are like, this is violent. It's very simple, right? You're very one-track minded. There's a lot of things happening. Don't get me wrong. It's a very complex situation. Once you get in the game, you're listening to your coaches. You're defending while planning attacks and working angles. So it's very complicated. I'm not trying to take away from that.
Right.
But when you boil it down, it's simple. You get into an 8-week camp or whatever your camp is, and you're focused on training, nutrition for one goal: to get locked in a cage or in a ring and be held victorious.
Yeah.
So like you're putting a lot of things aside to focus on one thing. And if you're not a fighter and you do it as a hobby, it's the same. When you go to train, whether it's BJJ, someone's trying to put you in some sort of joint lock or wrap their arms around your neck. It's like you're not thinking about bills. You're not thinking about all this other stuff. You table that. And then there's another aspect to it, right? Like you're getting choked and the room is closing and you simply tap and they let you go. You smack hands. You're like, man, that was good. Like, how can I be better to avoid that from happening? Now you're learning. There's this growth happening. And there's this trust that I just developed with you. You could have not stopped.
Right.
Like 3 taps on your arm and you decided to just let me go while I was on the brink of death. There's a trust that's formed there.
Wow. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
like,
why the friendships there are so deep.
So deep.
Yeah.
Like these people will literally die for you and kill for you just because you roll with each other and try to inflict pain.
Right.
Same with fighting, right? You're sparring someone, you're hitting each other, and you're trusting the other guy not to try and take your head off. Like he's giving you good looks. He's giving you some pressure and some weight, but his goal is to build you, and your goal is to build him while you're building yourself. There's this exchange that's happening in jiu-jitsu, in boxing, in wrestling. So I think and there's, you know, a psychologist, if there's a psychologist listening, I'd love to have you on to talk about this because they're very more articulate than I am. But all of this stuff builds into, and then you leave and you're like, wow, I just did that hard thing. That was super hard and I made it. Right? Like it was taxing on my cardio. It was taxing. I was winded. You know, I got tapped out, but I'm okay. That bill that's due isn't so scary anymore.
Right.
That deadline that's due isn't so scary anymore. That argument with that, you know, erratic driver, that road rage incident, the dude comes out, you're like, it's not so scary anymore. Like, I just trained with this dude who tried to rip my limb off. I'm going to be okay here.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to be okay. I'll just do what I can to get the bill paid. I'll do what I can to meet the deadline.
Yeah.
But it's also created this like grit. So you're like, I'm going to figure this out. Like I figured that out. I'm going to figure this out.
Yeah.
So all of that encompasses, like, I think everyone should train. You don't have to be the next, you know, Khabib. You don't have to be the next Mayweather. You don't have to, however you feel about them. But I just named two very controversial people in MMA and boxing. But you don't have to be those people to get a benefit from training.
Right. I agree with that. Because like I said, I never like went training competition wise or anything. I was just what you'd consider super, super casually training. But that was such a microcosm for so much that I could transfer into my real life, into getting better at school or whatever it was. That idea of like hyper focus and being so involved, also proving to yourself that you can get through difficulty and building resilience in like a very physical one-to-one kind of way. It helps you realize, like you're saying, in the real world, these are transferable skills. I can do the same thing. The payoff for what I'm doing with writing or a podcast or anything might take longer, but the same principles apply. You know, I just have to keep going, keep learning, because it's very quick in combat sports with not learning the skill, but like there's this did not work. I just got like counterpunched kind of thing.
It's very immediate feedback.
Yeah, it's immediate feedback. Where in the real world it's not, but transferable skills are huge. That's why I loved when they used to do the police kid boxing programs where like the police would teach the kids how to box. And there's this guy, Jason Wilson, who does Jiu Jitsu with younger kids now. And I think if you teach a kid combat sports, again, I'll have to find you the research and I can text it to you. But there is research that shows if you train combat sports, your grades go up in school attendance and all that kind of stuff will go up. And that's the stuff that Jason Wilson is doing.
It's building discipline.
Right.
You know, I love watching kids' classes because these kids, like, they'll do some crazy technique and they're like 5 years old. And I'm sitting there like, how their brains, like, I would love to be in their brains and understand, like, how did you get there? You know, like, this stranger who's an adult is telling you what to do and you just go out and you do it. And these kids are laughing while they're like choking each other and stuff. And then they tap and then, or they counter or vice versa. That you see the kid who's crying because kids can't really, you know, they don't have the emotional intelligence, right?
Yeah.
So they're crying and then they make it through and then they win or they lose and they're crying and then they get comforted and then it's like they go back out and do it again. But as an adult, when we reach that crying, we want to quit.
Right.
This is hard. But that kid is crying and he goes out and does it again. And maybe he loses, or maybe she loses, and maybe he wins or loses. But they go out there and do it again, and they do it again. And it's like to see these kids problem solve real time and go through these controlled trauma, essentially.
Yeah.
But you're preparing them for when they experience that in real life. It's like they're equipped. Mm-hmm. They're gaining emotional intelligence. They're getting fitness and health, and they're moving. They're learning their bodies, right? Like, wow, I'm strong, right? Like, I love when the little girls beat up the little boys, right? Because then they come out and they're like, I did that. I'm strong. It's like, yes, you are.
Yeah,
you're very strong, and you're learning about it. But that's the same. Even if you don't know, you are strong. You just haven't used it. You haven't exercised that.
Right.
So you're unaware of your strengths. That's why you should train. Learn about your strengths. Learn about your weaknesses so that you can make them better. Training exposes that.
Yeah, you cannot be afraid of your weaknesses. That's a huge one, right? People, they'll come up against a roadblock or try something and not be good at it and think that is proof I can't do this. I'm not very good at this, and it's not my thing. And that it's not the case. Like when I got the clots in my heart, lung, and legs, and I had to go back into training, I couldn't. I was trying to do like a hike with my parents. It was the first like physical activity I did in months after that, and it was like the walk to the hike. I was like, I can't do that. Like I'm breathing so hard. Like there was still some issue with my leg. If it got too pumped, basically like too much blood in it, it would start to hurt. And I was like, I can't even get the walk to the hike, let alone the hike. But I wasn't going to be, saying to myself, okay, I guess I can't hike anymore. It's just, okay, now I have to I have to do walks first on flat ground. And I started to do that around the neighborhood. Let me add a backpack and do that, and then go up the hill. Like you're saying, you can titrate yourself up into where you want to be. But as soon as you hit that roadblock, people are too quick to be like, guess I'm not meant for this.
That's why training is so important. I always say, apply a fighter's mindset to whatever you're doing.
Right.
To writing. Which one sounds more intense? You almost get choked out. You're losing a fight. The round ends. You sit in your corner. In your mind, you're like, man, I can't go another round. But there's another round that needs to be done. You can't just walk out of the cage. And the coach tells you, hey, go in there, and get it done. And your rest is up, bell rings, you're back in the middle, and you got to go another round. After you can't, but you have to do it. Or you're writing a book, and you experience writer's block. You're like, I can't keep writing today.
Right.
And you're like, I'm just going to keep writing. Which one's more intense?
Yeah, definitely going out there in the fight.
It's the same principle.
Yeah.
It's the same principle.
Mindset-wise, yeah.
Mindset-wise, it's the same principle. You're reaching a point where you're like, I can no longer go. And you're consciously, because in reality, and I've seen it in fights, you could just wave the white flag and quit and walk out. You'll be made fun of, but you'll be okay.
Yeah.
Your coaches will be angry, but you'll be okay. You didn't go out and fight again. You got your breath and you didn't get punched again. Like in reality, you can quit. You've convinced yourself I can't quit. Like, I just got to go another round. In writing, you can sit up from your desk and leave and just not go back to it. It's the same principle. You've consciously made a decision to ignore your brain that's telling you to stop, that's trying to preserve you. Our brains lie to us all the time. Our brains want us to sit on the couch and relax and do nothing because it's safe. You're not expending calories. Mm-hmm. You're preserving yourself. But it's a lie, because are you truly preserving yourself?
No, you're actually getting worse.
You're getting worse.
Yeah. And that's, again, where my health condition has helped me just kind of, I think, it would take me until developing like a beer gut or something until I was like, I guess I should do cardio. But if I sit around now, I have like the check-ins with my heart doctor. They're going to tell me my VO2 max and stuff. They're like, you haven't been doing your cardio. Like you're actively in heart failure. Like you got to do this. So it keeps me disciplined because that's a quicker conversation. For a lot of people, that's where, you can take whatever you are challenging, like whatever challenge you have. It sounds weird to say, but it is such a blessing I have this for me, because I probably wouldn't work out so much. I probably would not run ever if I didn't have a heart condition. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was going to ask, like you were, from the first diagnosis, you worked through that, you're rebuilding, you're doing the right steps, and then now the blood clots. And it's like, kind of like a reminder of like, hey, life is finite, whatever the word is, finite. Like you're reminded again that, hey, you're not invincible. And you're constantly fighting through that. Like, what was that mindset? You're building, you're growing, boom, another diagnosis. And you're like, oh, no, I can't even walk. But then you make the conscious decision to go, well, now I'm going to learn to like walk, to build to the hike, to then build to the packing, to then build to the rucking, to like, for the person listening right now who's at that roadblock and they're just, I can't, whatever, next, I can't X. Mm-hmm. How do you, what's your advice to them of pushing past that roadblock?
Yeah, I think it's a mindset of knowing that it is just a barrier. You can stop and recoup for a minute, take some inventory, see, all right, how's best to get over this? Is this something I climb through? Is this something we're going to knock down? Is this something we go around? Get your breath. Be patient with yourself. But always move like with the goal and intent of moving forward. Because I think that's where I was with coming out of the ICU, and I started on crutches. And it's like I remember trying to make it to this movie on crutches and like being late to the movie and being frustrated. And it's like, this sucks. And you're kind of feeling self-pity. And but knowing, just keeping in mind, I'm not going to be in the crutches forever. And then with the walking, like you just have to keep telling yourself, this might be an annoyance and frustration for a bit. And maybe I don't even have the answer on how to fix it right now, but I need to be patient and keep the intention of moving forward and keep taking those little steps to move the needle, even if it's a little bit. Just move the needle daily. And it can be as small as, a few steps for me, like we were saying, like just walking around. If you're a writer, sometimes it's just a few words in the page, or maybe you just brainstorm something on a notepad, but you should keep the momentum and keep moving forward and keep the idea and the hope alive. I think hope is just such an underutilized thing in today's day and age, of just having that hope that things will get better, because it is that delusional optimism that I like to say I have sometimes that keeps me in the fight, for sure. At this stage,
You have to wave the victim card. I know it's tough love. You've applied that, but we have to wave the victim card. Right. We fall victim of something gets hard, and it's like, well, look at my life. This is hard because, and we start to justify our placement and whatever. And it's like, if you accept the narrative of being broken, you're going to make it a gospel.
Right.
Like if you're in the habit of continuously finding excuses, it's going to be the way you live your life with everything. And we have to break past that. And you've embodied you went from switching from why me to watch me. And your story is a testament. And I'm hoping, the reason I love doing this podcast is because we are all going through stuff.
Right.
Right. And I'm listening to your story, and even me, I'm guilty of it. I'm like, you don't know how much I've been complaining lately. Right. I've had a crazy hand dealt to me lately. A lot of it is self-induced, right? I put myself in a lot of projects and kind of stretch myself out because of things I love doing. And then I reach a point where I'm like overwhelmed. Like listening to your story, I'm saying like, why? I don't get to do that. I don't get to, my life is hard right now because of things that I've prayed for and I've gotten, and now I have to live up to this and step into it. Like, I'm guilty of it. Like, I'm listening to your story, I'm like, I need to be better. And how many of us listening are in that same thing? Like, man, look at this guy. Look at Luke. Like, can we maybe say, hey, I'm blessed not to have the hand he was dealt. Let me start playing my cards a little better, right? Like, I have a better set of cards than him right now. Let me play these a little better.
Right. Yeah, you have such an opportunity ahead of you. That's what, if I can say anything, it's just why I think you should just start looking at your life like it has potential, like it has some fun to be had, some adventures to live. I wish people had more of like a excitement for life, and for me, this heart condition I think has helped that, where it's like I go to bed every day just saying I'm grateful for breath in my lungs and blood in my veins, and it doesn't sound silly. It's like I know that could be very, very quickly something could happen where I'd be in a hospital bed again and I'm not getting out. And it's like I got to be so thankful that I'm here right now doing this, and then I can go right and I'm still free. I'm not stuck to the stupid beeping things over here and the things in my arm, and I'm just in a hospital bed, because that sucks. And some people are there right now. Some people are not going to leave the hospital bed. Some people didn't wake up this morning. There's so many people who have it worse. And you can, no matter how little the step is, or maybe it's not optimal, but you can take a step forward. And people do it. There's role models, and there's a way to look up to people and find hope. Like for me in the hospital, it wasn't just on my own like grit and motivational mindset. It was looking at Vinny Pazienza. If you ever heard his story of getting paralyzed, and they're like, you're never going to walk again. And then he became a champion boxer after that. Like he was like, no, I'm not going to listen to that. And I was like, hey, I love that mindset. Let me adopt that. So, always be searching for the type of content and stuff like that brings that out in you. That's what I do.
Would you say it eliminates the fear of failure? Because
for sure, because who cares?
Yeah, like
who cares?
Listening to like your mindset on all this is very inspiring, because let's say I could be hooked up to a hospital bed tomorrow. I can leave here, get hit by a car, or something happen, right? Something I don't know what's going on with my body.
Right.
Like, when you think of it that way, it seems dark and gruesome, but it's if you can adjust your mind, it's like, I can't fail.
Right.
Like, ultimate failure is death.
Yeah.
And I have breath in my lungs and blood in my veins. There's no failing.
Right.
There's learning. I might have to pivot.
Right.
But like, I can't truly fail.
Yeah. Well said. And I totally agree with that. I think that's where, especially lately, this is where this has come into my life. And I feel like the heart condition is a blessing, is that like the fear of being cringe or failing or like getting bad reviews. I don't care about any of it anymore. It's really, you know what I mean? It's so freeing to not, if things go well, I'm happy and I'm glad. But all I care about is, am I being congruent? Am I doing my mission? Because I want to. This is how I want to live my life. I want to be writing and doing this. And it's more fun for me that way. It's not like, oh, I have to do this, because I don't even know if I'm going to get tomorrow. I might be dead tomorrow. Who knows? So it's more so just I'm enjoying the process and I'm invested in what I'm doing because I like it. And that makes the fear of failure and the fear of like rejection and all that stuff that I think holds a lot of people back, it dissipates for me, because I just don't care. It doesn't matter. It
becomes not real.
Yeah.
Like that failure, whatever.
My book, no one is going to remember my book 10 years after I die. And that's if I'm lucky, you know what I mean? Give it 50 years, who's going to remember the name? Nobody. Who cares? So that's really freeing for me. It's so nice to just like, I don't know, let it all go.
Or everyone's going to remember it.
But either way, won't be here. Well, no. So it's very,
Either way, not my problem.
Not my problem. It feels good. It feels good.
Because I'm thinking like we see people who put creative works out, and we like Picasso. Well, I'll use Picasso. Like, how many of his pieces can you name? Zero. Okay. I mean, but
I'm not a big art. I don't know. I don't know much about art.
Art guy. Okay, that's fair. Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I can name a few songs.
You can. How many songs can you name?
15, 10?
Probably 15.
Yeah.
His catalog has over 100 songs.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, we're not thinking about the songs that didn't make it, or maybe the songs that never made it out of the studio because he didn't feel they were good enough and he was hypercritical about them. We think of the pieces that hit.
Right.
Smooth
criminal.
But to get there, how many songs did he have to go through?
Right.
So it's like failing, quote unquote, is okay, so long as you push past that and grow from it.
Yeah.
Because if you're doing the right things, no one's going to think about the process it took to get there.
Right.
You are, if you're on the Relentless Project, because I love the process, because the process kind of gives wherewithal and weight to the finished product, whatever that may be.
Yeah.
Like, I love the behind the scenes. I love the process because it's what got you here, right? You didn't lose a job. When you lose a job, it's like crushing. How am I going to pay my bills? I loved what I was doing. I loved the company. It's a very dark time for a lot of people. And then you get a better job making more money or doing something you thoroughly enjoy. When you're on the other side of it, you're not thinking back like, I wish I didn't lose that job.
Right.
You're thankful. You're grateful that you went through that experience because it got you here.
Right. And these hard times are coming, that is going to happen. I'm still going to have really dark times, but we have to expect that, because that is life. That's what we're in. And you don't know the full story yet. Like you're saying, the process that might have kept a few Michael Jackson songs from ever coming out or whatever. Like, there are some people who, I think of this one guy, I forget the author's name, but there's a book called Hard Rain Falling. It's a fiction book. And the author ended up committing suicide because he felt like he was a failure. It didn't sell well or whatever. Like, he missed his dream of being a writer. Now that book is like, critically acclaimed. People love it. It finally got its moment in the sun. The album Pink Moon, same thing. Like, the artist ended up killing himself, but then that is like one of the most downloaded albums of all time now. So like, you don't even know what the end analysis is going to be. You can't act with the assumption that you do.
Your mantra is, I don't want any dreams trapped in the grave with me. How does that philosophy dictate the way you schedule your day and the projects you take on? Because I feel like, as much as you're like, I'm going to conquer the world, I'm going to do everything. like knowing we all have a limited amount of time here, we're very intentional with what we spend our time on.
Yeah.
Like, how does that translate with you?
So it's, as everything is a learning process and learning curves type of thing, because there are times in my life that I've bitten off more than I could chew type of thing, and like try to do too much. And then life itself becomes less enjoyable. I feel like this is not the balance I want to live in. So the refining process has been the intentionality piece of like, I need to be very intentional about how I'm going to spend this time. I need to make sure I allot enough time. But my process is like, what are the things that keep me up at night, that are eating at me, that are like the dreams that I've had since I was young? Like, what are these things I want to see through, and what actionable, meaningful steps can I take on them? And again, not with the intention of like, oh, so they can be big and successful and I can let it out there in the world, because that's how I want to live my day. Like, that's how I want to spend my time, is being engaged in those things. It feels more fulfilling for me to be engaged in these things and be working towards this goal. And so for me, yeah, it's that. It's like, what do I want to be doing? Pick that, and then reminding myself to just focus on that. I think with this going the negative way, it's like, oh, I got to do everything now. I got to, take on too much. So time management is where I'm trying to get better at.
Yeah, when you figure that out, let me know.
Oh yeah.
I could use some of that myself. As a counselor and a YouTuber with 93,000 subscribers, I've been doing this for 4 years. I'm nowhere near that. So I personally can understand like the work that entails.
Yeah.
You're constantly pouring into other people, helping them see the hero in themselves. I know it sounds cheesy, but that's what we're doing. We're trying to make a positive impact. Is it easier to give that advice to others? Is it easier to give that advice to others than it is to apply to yourself?
Yeah. Way easier. Yeah. So it's way easier because I know these things, right? I can use my mind to be like, this is what I should do. And I could tell myself that all day. I could know what I'm supposed to do, and I could still be like, nah, I'm actually just going to not do that.
Dude, I struggle with that, man. Like,
right.
I have these conversations with people, and I'm like, man, what an awesome story, great advice. And then I'll find myself in that situation, and it's like, it's hard to apply. So when I'm talking, trust me, I understand. Like, to everyone listening, I understand because I'm guilty of it, and me
too.
You know how awakening it is when someone. I asked you the question, how does it feel someone describe you? When I hear people describe me, I'm like, that's not me.
Right.
Like, maybe I have this imposter syndrome, but it's like, I deal with the same things. Like, this podcast is like a counseling session for me, right? I get to talk, I get to vent, I get to hear people's stories, I get to learn from them. So it's like, it's easier said than done.
Definitely.
And I understand that, but it's like, I'm trying to do the appropriate steps to push past all that. So the advice is hard to apply, but the process is happening.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The process is where you orient yourself, because it's like, if I can put little check boxes on a notepad and I can do the things I'm supposed to do and force myself to do it, I can kind of take the mental games out of it. That's going to be better for me. That'll keep me disciplined and going forward, because if I am just left to my own devices to try to take my own advice, I'm not going to do that. I cannot outwork the process. The process itself of like doing the checklist and doing it very manually is way better, because I am far lazier than I want to be, and it will not fight. I just cannot get over that. So I have to make it very systematic.
Speaking of that, you wrote down dreams in the 3rd grade.
Yeah.
And now you're living them. You co-founded Veritas Entertainment and are in pre-production for a crime film right here in Pittsburgh, which I can appreciate. Big Pittsburgh guy myself. Tell us about the project and the vision behind it.
So me and Casey met in 3rd grade and initially beefed really hard over a lady. We both liked the same lady.
The best friendships always start with some fight.
The lady didn't know either of us. I don't think we either talked to her one time. So that was a good fight to have. And then we became quick friends. And from 3rd grade on, the reason I was getting those D's is during school, I'd be writing screenplays and stories for what we would film that weekend. And so we would go and film at one of our houses during sleepovers and stuff. We would film these movies. And back in like the 3rd grade days, we used to take the cassettes and be like, all right, look up Universal's like their mailing address. We're gonna send this to them. We're gonna get this bad boy made. And like that's what we.
The fact you said cassettes, for my younger viewers, Google that.
Yep. It was like a cassette camera. If you want to look that up, like it had
camcorders, if you will,
little VHSs that were like this big, cassette. But
did they ever get back to you?
Unfortunately, not.
Maybe they haven't got to it. It's long
big
process.
Yeah.
Long process.
We were thinking one day we would just hit the theater and be like, sick, there's the trailer. That's really literally what I thought was gonna happen. But
you gotta love the young mind,
right? So funny. But we did that. We kept doing that, and then we kind of had a drifting moment. Like I said, we weren't friends. Not any kind of like big animosity, but I got obsessed, like I said, with being in that relationship. Now that my whole life was like, I'm this girl's boyfriend. That's what I do. And then he started to do his own thing with like a skater crowd, and we just went different ways, different paths. And that was around like senior year. So we didn't see each other probably from junior, senior year. And then when I got into sophomore year of college is when we got back together as friends. And we realized nothing's changed. Like we still want to do the same thing. And he went to the military. So he went and did that. And I went through like my schooling. But as soon as he was out of the military, we started talking about how do we get this done? How do we do this? And I met through social media. This is why social media is not all bad. Nathaniel Hummel is the other owner of Veritas Entertainment. We met through Instagram, and me and Casey, like we all together realized we've had this same dream. Nathaniel on his own path, and me and Casey together, like we all wanted to make movies. We wanted to tell stories. And so we came together and just, again, with the simplicity of it, like let's just do it. Like let's not overthink it. Let's just build this company together. Let's do it. And we started, like what really, the glue of the organization is books right now and like publishing. So a lot of it was that, and with the goal of let's make a movie. And we thought we were going to do it in 2024, then 2025, 2026. This is finally when we're able to, we've got everything in the line, everything's in line. We got the ability to actually do it. So this month is when we're starting to open up casting, talking to you. And, I
don't want to pressure you, but if you're in a bind, need someone.
It'll be this month that we start to look at that. And so veritasent.com, there's like a form that people can fill out because we really want this to be like a Pittsburgh project. I want Pittsburgh musicians, Pittsburgh fashion. Like we want to just showcase.
Let's tap into the Relentless Network.
Exactly.
I've had producers, I've had artists, I've had all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Fashionistas. You and I both know one.
Yeah.
Maybe it could be the wardrobe guy. I don't know how any of this works.
But exactly, like the city of Pittsburgh has so much going on. Watching your podcast, you see it. Vin Diesel you had on here, hanging out with his, like at his place, and seeing everybody around. It's like there is so much talent here, and that's what we want to tap into and work and just showcase. So yeah, that's veritasent.com. Go on and fill out the registration form for the Crime Story, Iron City, if you want to be a part of it, and we'll be getting to people.
So you're actively looking for people to get involved in the production of this film.
Yeah.
That's exciting. What kind of talent, crew, or backing are you looking for exactly? Or is the whole gambit open?
So we're leaving it pretty open-ended to who, because we just want to see what is out there as far as talent. But big things that we want is definitely like editors and audio people it's hard to, everybody wants to be like front of camera or directing, things like that, but like sound people, not as robust of easy to find people. So we want like audio and cinema, like the DPs. We need some DP action, and of course we want actors, background actors. There's main characters that still need fulfilled. So we're looking for everything. Costume design is a big one for me because, again, always been into fashion. Things like Miami Vice, I think, are elevated by the fashion that they had in them and the music they had.
Peaky Blinders.
Peaky Blinders, the style.
The wardrobe in Peaky Blinders, impeccable.
Yeah, it's that kind of thing. So we're looking for costume designers. We're looking for music, not only just like soundtracks or original score stuff. We want soundtrack. We want songs, Black and Yellow is huge, and that was like about Pittsburgh. There's probably some untapped, amazing, incredible artist who needs the chance to get their song heard, We would love to put that as like one of the songs.
I've had DJs, I've had rappers, we could probably find some.
There's boxing in the the film as well?
I can get you boxers.
So we
no
need,
problem.
we need boxers in the background hitting
I've
bags.
had boxers on here.
Perfect.
I've had promoters on here.
You're gonna end up being an executive producer.
Do you
it
need a
sounds
boxing? Do you need a boxing gym?
like. We have a boxing gym in mind, but we might actually need one. Yeah, like we haven't started contracts.
There
yet.
was a boxing gym. I don't know if I could. I won't say the name. I'll tell you out so I don't get sued by someone else's stuff. But there's a boxing gym in Pittsburgh that was on an Apple film.
That's sick. That's awesome.
So being able to do, he's open to it. Obviously, you know,
right.
he's already. But big Pittsburgh roots, big Irish roots. If you know who I'm talking about. But he's a local promoter. He has a local gym, and he has local fighters.
Yeah.
So
That's perfect. Especially, maybe, I guess I can tell you off air. I'll tell you off air. There's another project I have in mind for me personally that I want to talk to you about. I think it'd be fun.
let's talk about it. We'll talk about it. But it's very like Pittsburgh, you know, it's in a garage. It's like,
Perfect.
it's very Pittsburgh-esque, if you will. I don't know if I just created that word, but
I love it. And that's what we want the movie to be, is like Pittsburgh-esque. We want, like, it's not going to be called Crime Story Iron City not to feel like Pittsburgh and like look like Pittsburgh, you know, like want it to really hold
that could be cool.
Pittsburgh-esque feeling.
And I'll do the audio. I used to do music production, and with all this, I do all the audio for this.
That'd
So
be awesome. Yeah.
I can't write music for you, but I can edit it all.
That's perfect.
No, that's awesome. I'm excited for this. I love hearing these because if I ever see that movie, obviously, even if I'm not involved in it, it's like, dude, he said it and he did it.
Right.
I'll be the first person buying tickets.
That's why it's so exciting. It's like we can all just do it. And that's where we want to get everybody involved. Like, who wants to be an actor? Who wants to do this stuff? Who's been waiting for the chance? Let's just take our shot. Just like when me and Nathaniel met, and like, I just met the guy, and probably 3 months later, we were like, let's start a business and write some books. It's like, we're both just going to do it. We could think about it all day long, but that's not going to get anything done.
Well, and that's the thing. We can think about it. We can talk about it. What steps are we going to take?
Right.
And that's with everything in life. Like the next goal you have. Okay, a dream. A dream that you don't take actions towards is irrelevant. It's useless. It's a thought.
Might not be perfect. It might not be how you want to see it. Like, but be willing to take the less than perfect route into it, because then, like you said, it's a rung. You'll get to the perfect route eventually. Just start moving.
Let's go. Dominic Porcari, you ever heard of him?
Mm-mm.
So he's a local Pittsburgh guy.
Okay.
He had a film on Prime.
Nice.
So maybe a guy to reach out to. And he's crazy about it. He designs his own sets, and I saw a video he posted on TikTok. He needed like a certain type of lighting.
Wow.
So he just built it himself.
Dude's awesome.
He's
great.
And then he has a video where he's like putting it all together, and then he's like hiding behind a wall before he wires it and plugs it in. He's just like, and the light turns on. He's like, it worked.
See, that's exactly the mindset though, right? Someone could look at that and be like, I can't get it done. Or you could have so much fun in the process of doing it. And like, that's what's engaging, and that's what's the best part. That's what I think my whole life philosophy is just like, this is fun for me. This is what I like to do. The challenges are going to come, but that's life. Well, I would rather be doing this stuff fun, and then the problems find me, rather than just be sitting around moping, problems still find me.
But these are the challenges that are going to make what you want to happen better.
Right.
Right? It's like if you approach it in that way, and it's like trying to film a movie, I can't imagine how hard that is. There's going to be challenges.
Yeah, it's going to have so many problems.
That should be exciting, though. It's like, I'm filming a movie, dog. Like,
right.
How many people film movies? Not that many.
And so many people want to. It's like, you got to just take the leaps. Stop waiting. You don't have forever, please.
For sure. Get connected. Go on the website.
Yep.
VeritasENT.com. I'm doing that as soon as I leave. Can't have you forget about me. So we've talked a lot of deep stuff, right? We've learned a lot about your story. My next segment, Relentless Rapid Round, is a way to like kind of fall back a little bit. I don't want to say relax, because they're quick answers. I'm gonna fire off questions, quick answers, little to no thought. No pun intended. We're gonna get the heart rate up. There's a lot of my dark humor.
Yeah.
So let's just get into it. If you could only recommend one book that changed your mindset, what is it?
That would be Man's Search for Meaning, Viktor Frankl.
What is the most important lesson combat sports taught you about adversity?
That you can actually do it if you just give yourself more time.
What is the best thing about shooting a gritty crime film in Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh's look is fantastic. It looks so good.
The bridges with the lights now at night.
I was looking just like where you are across to some of the stuff around there and the scenery and just like the red bricks and stuff and the factories around Pittsburgh. So good. Gets me fired up.
I don't know how often you're in Pittsburgh.
Not too often.
You ever been to the Strip District?
Yeah.
It's literally across the bridge.
Yeah.
Not the terminal, like the big, that's obviously a big staple, but I mean like old Strip District.
Maybe not.
Where the paper mill was, like all the gritty of Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
It's right across the bridge.
I'll have to check that out.
My MMA gym's over there. Shout out Stout Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Well, we're having fights tomorrow. Obviously, by the time this airs, they've already happened. But it's very Pittsburgh. Very Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
The Strip, Lawrenceville. Like, there's so many areas you could tap into.
Such a good look, to Pittsburgh itself.
No, it's going to be cool. Out of all your YouTube videos, what is the core topic that resonates the most with your subscribers?
Well, the video that went off the most was this video called The Most Dangerous Mindset I See as a Therapist, which was about people not wanting to suck at things and like stopping too soon and kind of too quickly turning to AI and stuff like that, and just worries I had about that. So I think it's trying to find the human resilience and the hero within you to push past the shackles like our phones, I think that's kind of the theme of the channel.
And if you're a regular listener of this show, we talk about that all the time.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Perfect.
How everything just circles back. Outworking a death warrant and refusing the victim card. What does the word relentless mean to Luke Goodish?
It means that until you're actually flatlined, just keep doing what you can do. There's always something. So do that.
There's always something, do that. I like that. Because we always talk about pushing towards a goal.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I didn't get the goal. Well,
Keep
let's find another goal.
Yeah.
Or find another way there. Like, do something. You're not flatline. Do something.
Right.
My dude. So now, in closing, embodying the relentless mindset, we've learned about you. We've learned about your story, your resilience, your adversity. To the listener who isn't an author, who isn't in film, but experiencing similar things, this is a way to kind of tie everything together so we can give some sort of value to the listeners. So to the listener right now who has 1,000,001 reasons why life isn't fair and they're holding on to their victim card tightly, what is your message to them?
I would ask them if they're enjoying how things are going. If the answer is no, which it probably is not, then we should look at changing something. And whether that's your mindset, whether that's the actions you take, I would take it a minute to assess what should you change. If you're wanting to get out of what you're in and you don't like how something has to change. That's what I would say.
Something has to change. Figure that out and then start moving there.
Yeah, and there's this technique I like to throw out to people all the time, which is called the ultimate meanings technique. And it's where you kind of write anything you want to write. Like maybe it's a goal, maybe it's something you're struggling with, but you write like a question to yourself of what you're pondering, what you're trying to work on, and you ask yourself, well, why? And then you answer that as deeply and as fully as you can, and then ask why to that, and ask why to that, and you just keep getting it down, and it's like having a self-therapy session. You'll really get to know something about yourself. So if you want to change things, you don't know what you want to change, you don't know what needs changed, start looking at a question that's been bothering you, that keeps you up at night. Ask yourself, why, and down. Because
eventually you'll get to a place where you can understand and make that actionable step.
Yeah, you'll be ripping the layers of lies out, the stuff that we tell ourselves to protect the ego and all this kind of stuff that is nicer and easier, and you'll get down to a more core truth of what's going on.
I'm going to have to do that. That's actually, because we think about it, but if you write it down and you can trace it, you can go back up the rung a lot of it. Okay, this is where I'm having issues.
Yeah, it gets so much deeper than you think it is.
Yeah, I didn't realize this stems from all of this that's going on. It's a good exercise. If someone listening wants to rewrite the narrative of their life today, what is the exact first step they need to take when they wake up tomorrow?
I would say this is where you mentioned it. We can get a little cheesy with it, but I think I'm good. I like the cheese. I like just pretending that you are the hero. You love Indiana Jones. You love James Bond, whoever it is, like, why are you not acting more like them? Like, full LARP, you know what I mean? Like, full on pretend I'm Rocky, baby. You know, like, you're living in the movie. This is it. This is your time. So I think first thing is seeing yourself as the hero. A lot of times you just see yourself as insignificant, small. Like me when I was younger, right? Just, I've got nothing to offer. No, you should tell yourself that you're the hero in the story, and you're in the middle of the first act, and you're going through the tough stuff, and you're making it through, though.
Yeah, because in every movie, most movies, like, you reach that, like, the climax, and then it's like, boom, happy, success. But, like, we kind of know this is coming. We don't know what it looks like in the movie, just like in life. But in every movie, you're going through something where it's going good, and you're like, the tide's gonna turn because it's a movie.
Right.
And then you get hit with that, oh my goodness moment. That just happened. Now what? It's over. But it's not, because there's still 45 minutes left to the movie.
Yeah, the all is lost moment, but the movie's still going, so something's happening.
Something's going to happen. But, like, that's our lives.
Yeah.
That can be our lives if you approach it in that way.
You got to see yourself as the hero. Just keep playing the movie out. Keep turning the pages. Keep writing the chapter. Because you are writing your story. So just don't put the pen down. Don't write with the old ink or go to old pages. Just keep going forward. Write your story. Keep going. Keep going.
I like that. The film is in pre-production. The YouTube channel is booming. What does the next year look like for you and Veritas Entertainment?
It'll be Crime Story Iron City, mostly taking up the whole calendar. It'll be around February next year when we actually are filming. Principal photography will happen February around that time. So that'll be the whole thing.
A lot of things to do before that.
Yeah, a lot of pre-production planning. We still have the book stuff going on, so we'll have a couple like events where we're selling books and things like that. But it'll mostly be scouting locations, meeting actors, it'll be putting it all together so that in February we can pull the trigger.
I have a buddy filming a huge documentary in LA. I won't mention him because I don't know where he is in that process of like legalities. Because one thing I do know is it's been like 6 years in the making because of legality. So I don't want to mess it up for him. But it made me realize every time I talk to him, he tells me things that he probably can't say online or people. Right. And I'm just like, I didn't realize there was so much involved. Like, you have this idea, you already know what you want to do, but you can't get down to do it because there's so many other nuances you have to do before you get there.
Yeah. And there's so many obstacles and stuff you don't even know
exists. It's like frustrating.
Yet. And different, especially when you start to get like lawyers and contracts and all that, and then it just branches out to more and more issues. Like, I want to film here, but I have to go get like a zoning permit? What are you talking about? Like stuff like that. Like,
it's a 30-second. There was a movie filmed that I did security for in North Hills, and we were there for 3 days. And I didn't know the movie. I didn't know the scene. I was just told no one's allowed past this road.
Yeah.
Easy job. Later find out they were filming a scene of a car a girl running into the street and a car missing her. I'm like, that's a 10-second scene.
Shouldn't I have been here for a minute?
You were here for 3 days.
Yeah. Wild stuff.
It's just like the movie industry is just, or like Stranger Things.
Yeah.
I watched the last episode, which was like the behind the scenes. And I love behind the scenes stuff. If you know me, you know I love the behind the scenes stuff. So I watched it. And I'm looking at it like everything that was involved. And it just makes you appreciate the show or the movie so much more.
Right.
Because you're watching, like, half these actors are filming in front of a green screen and everything else is post-production.
The list of people on credits these days, insane.
Yeah, and you're like, there were 5 actors.
Yeah. You're like, where are all these people? Post-production.
Post-production.
Yeah.
Or writers. Or
crew.
Or
staff,
It's like.
Craft services.
Wow.
So much.
Like, I think it was Dominic was telling me about, like, you have to have catering.
Yeah.
You have to have, like, there's so many things you have to make sure you do.
Right.
It's just, you don't even think about it. So it makes me appreciate when people are like, oh, this movie sucked. And I'm like,
right, you don't even know
maybe
how
it
hard.
did. But, like, do you know what it took to, like, the fact that it got to theaters is a feat of its own.
Yeah, Jack Carr talks about that after he made, like, Terminalist, the show of, like, anything he sees made now, it's like he realizes it's a miracle that got on there. Any half-good movie, like, that's even bigger miracle. How does this happen? Because there's just so much involved that you don't even realize.
The Michael Jackson biopic?
Yeah.
Can you imagine
Trying to make
the
that
legalities of that?
insane. Part 2, I hear, is, is that even going to happen because of legalities? So that's,
You said it's not?
I'm saying, is
Oh.
it even going to, right? Like, people are wondering if the legalities will halt it. Who knows?
Yeah, because, I mean,
It's tough landscape.
you're navigating the music industry. You're navigating Hollywood. You're navigating one of the most influential people probably of this century.
Right.
You're navigating being allowed to even use, like, the whole premise of this is to just showcase someone's life. Well, he was involved with other people.
Right.
Can you mention them?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
It's tough.
someone mentioned, I was reading an article about Diana Ross. And, like, was her name even said in the film? I can't
didn't see
remember,
it.
but it's like she had a big influence in whatever happened. But it's like there was an article talking about how people didn't want to be involved in the film. But, like, when you're talking about someone's life, why can't you just mention them, even if they're not in the film?
Right.
Like, you can't even there's so much involved, just in the legal aspect, let alone filming and producing and finding an actor. And the fact that it was his nephew, which is mind-boggling.
Right.
But his nephew even had to audition.
Right.
And his nephew had to learn. So now you need choreographers. So you need his nephew, who was arguably around him the whole time, needs to be taught how to be his uncle
Right.
by
Wild
some
process.
person who's being hired.
And
It's a wild process.
yeah, like I as you can tell, I'm a skinny guy. I have to gain some weight, so I'm already like working out for this movie. So I'm doing stuff now that'll be for the movie, but it's technically just like going to the gym. You know what I mean? So there's so much involved and so much.
It's a write-off, man.
Yeah.
The gym memberships, nutritionists.
I can write that off on my taxes actually. That meal that got me jacked, that I need that on the taxes.
The ice cream, needed that. I needed certain sugars to get me here.
So fun.
It's going to be a good time. Where can listeners find your books, subscribe to your channel, get involved with the production? I know you mentioned VeritasENT.com, but where can people find your books, subscribe to your channel?
LS_author on essentially everything is where you'll find me. If you look that up, you can find the books. Go on Amazon, find the books. VeritasENT, find the books. But yeah, LS_author is where you'll connect with me on YouTube or Instagram, things like that.
And the final question, the first question of the episode is always the same. Last question, always the same. As people are, the episode's over, they turn off their radios, their Spotify, their Apple Podcasts, they're going back to their daily lives. I like to give them something to take that's digestible. If you could summarize your philosophy on life in 30 seconds, what would you say?
I'd say that you can live a pretty meaningful and fulfilled existence if you find the values that you want to align yourself with, and on the daily you try to stick as closely to those values as possible. And at the end of the day, no matter what ends up happening outside of your control, whether you made the goal happen or not, you'll be pretty happy. And that's what I try to live by.
I like that. It's not hard.
But it's very hard as well.
It's simple,
Yeah.
but it's hard. That's what I'm gonna say. It's
Right.
simple, but it's hard, right? When you break it down, it's like, okay,
Seems easy. Yeah.
but there's a lot of moving parts. But if you can strive to that, even just strive to that goal.
Right.
I
And you
think-
will fail. And that's what you got to realize. Like me, you, anybody is going to fall short of their expectations, their ideal. That's life. It's just, are you going to use that as like evidence? Oh, I guess I'm not that guy. Or are you going to say the fighter's mindset? All right, what do I need to do differently? What do I need to pivot on? What do I need to change? And just keep getting up and keep trying to live as close to those values as you can.
And I will piggyback on that. If you're failing to your expectations, it's very easy to be brought down by it. But I'll argue this. Think of this. That's a good thing. You have these expectations that you're striving for, that you're falling short of. What that tells me is you have the wherewithal to know where you should be.
Mm-hmm.
You have this goal that is so big and so good. And the fact that it's hard for you to get there and you're aware of that is the biggest hurdle, in my opinion, because a lot of people walk around just going day to day, not caring, and it's like, whatever. You're like, hey, there's so much you could be doing. They're just like, yeah, I don't care.
Right.
So the fact that you're aware of this gap is a good thing.
Right. You wrestling with this tells me everything I need to know that
Yeah.
you're that kind of guy, you're a girl who can get it done.
For sure. Like the fact that you're convicted by this and you're struggling with not getting there, that's the biggest hurdle.
Right. Well
Like
said.
now it's just getting there. Well, brother, this is it.
This is fun.
You survived.
Had a good time.
I appreciate you for coming here, sharing your story, getting vulnerable with us. I encourage everyone, go follow him online. Go check out what he's doing. And in that, you're going to learn more about his story, bro. This has been a 2-hour conversation of
Felt like 5 minutes.
yeah. This is why it's so fun. of a man's life, right? How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
Just turned 30 in May.
So a 2-hour conversation of a 30-year journey.
Yeah.
So if you resonated with anything he was saying, go follow him. I'm not going to throw you under the bus, but reach out to him. You know, tell him what's up.
Yeah.
Tell him you're inspired, because we don't do that as people. We don't do that. We see something, and it's been happening to me lately, and I'm like, wow, like that's encouraging.
Right.
People reach out. I love. I mean, you did. I love what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, okay, I can keep doing this.
Yeah.
Like it's impacted one person. I can keep doing this.
And because I mean it, dude, this is like a serious, sick setup, and you're crushing it. And a lot of people, like you said, want that, or maybe they don't even think about that. But to have put this all together and to do all this yourself, you guys, is incredible. And
I
love what you're
appreciate
doing.
that, brother.
And it is helping people.
I appreciate that, because sometimes it's like, man, is it worth
Right.
the money and
feel
the
like
time?
you're kicking into the void. You know?
Yeah, like that's exactly what it feels like. But when you hear people say things like that, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
like one more.
And I will say, you were saying how like 4 or 5 years you were doing this.
About 4 years.
So my channel on YouTube for 5 years had like less than 1,000 or something like that. It just takes one video that goes viral, and then that would happen overnight.
This is the one.
Yeah.
This is the one, folks.
But it literally, like, people, if you just don't, it's that meme of the guy gold mining and like the diamonds are right there, and then he gives up and he walks away. It's like
One more strike,
one
you would have
video.
hit it.
Yeah, yeah. So all of a sudden it kind of happened. Same thing with books, like just selling nothing, and then it's like a hockey stick. It took 6 years for any movement, but it happened.
Well, 5 or 6 years is the sweet spot. All right.
Right.
I'll hang on for another year or two. Well, brother, I appreciate you for coming out to the studio, sharing your story with us. This is the one with Luke Goodish, and we are out. Later, brother.
See ya.
We just got to hear from Luke Goodish. If you're a regular of the show, you know we like to end the episode with the challenge for the week. Luke talked about something that should wake every single person listening. I don't want any dreams trapped in the grave with me. So many of us are burying our ambitions under a pile of excuses, waiting for the perfect time. That is never going to happen. Your challenge this week is the Grave Robber Challenge. I want you to take a piece of paper tonight and write down the one dream, project, or goal you've been secretly harboring but have been too afraid to start. Then, I want you to take one undeniable physical action toward it within 24 hours. Buy the domain name, sign up for the gym, write the first page of the book, or make that phone call. Stop leaving your potential on the table. Empty the tank. If you got anything from Luke's story, share this episode with one friend who you think would be inspired by this conversation. Help us out by following the Relentless Project on Instagram, X, and YouTube at RelentlessPRJCT. Like, share, subscribe, drop a comment, show some love so we can keep bringing you awesome guests with relentless stories. And remember, we don't settle, we don't quit, and we don't wait for permission. Love you all. I'm Ish. This is the Relentless Project, and I will see you on the next one. Later.